Okay, now we're going to do an e-learning version of a mastery check, how you can do this with students that are learning remotely. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so I'm using the e-learning slides. Oh, that is not what I wanted. All right, so this is if you are teaching remotely and you aren't using a card deck. If you could use a card deck, that would be even better. But here we go. So the student's going to say the sounds. They do not need to say the keyword in the slide. If the student makes an error, you'll still do the error correction of let's trace, saying the sound and the keyword during this section, but we're going to go through and just do a few, and I'm going to go through the slides quickly for time's sake.
Ol. D. A. N. P. K.
Okay, so she's going to do the rest of these sounds. I'm just going to click through those so that we don't waste our time. You know what you'll do on this portion. You'll go through all the sounds. Oops, went too fast. Okay, and now she's going to do the spell sound section. On my iPad, oh man, it just went. Okay, I have the slideshow for the teacher version brought up. It's called Mastery Check Teacher Version Sunday Level 3, Day 2. And I only have one of these made because I'm working on doing all the lessons right now, but this is what you can do to manipulate it. So I'm reading from this, and then she will write these letters in the spell sound section. She'll repeat after me, and then she'll repeat and write. D.
D.
Ooh.
Ol.
G.
G.
N.
N.
B.
B.
A.
A.
R.
R.
Okay. All right, now, so if you have multiple students, what you would do is ask the other students to read from the reading book or some other item from a Dakota book that follows what you guys are working on, and you would mute the rest of them while you listen to this one student. You would keep this record. So you'll make a copy of this, you'll put their name, their date, and you'll also want to time them while they're reading this because we want them to do it quickly and definitely not sound by sound. So you would have your student read this section, and if they get a 90%, you can move on. If not, you need to evaluate where the errors are, reteach, and come back, and then you would do this section. On this part, I have put a text. Oh, excuse me. So I wanted to just show you real quick that section's there. If you reteach it, I have put a text box so you could cover that up for the next time. Okay, so for this portion right here, you're going to be marking your errors on this page with their name and date to keep a record. And then you would have the student read these out loud to you. So just read the first column just for an example, Becky. Please.
Bit. Tin. Rim. Pad. Sit.
Okay, so you will write what they say right there next to it. Make sure you name and date it and keep a file. We need to keep a record of this, and every 9 weeks, if not sooner, we need to enter it into a Google Sheet, a Google form. So you could have multiple students waiting for this section. You could do this on a WebEx. Now we're going to go to the next portion. Now this part can be done whole group. So after you're done with that with each individual child, you're going to remind them how to do touch spelling. And they are going to repeat the word, and then they're going to touch spell the word, and then touch spell and write the word. You will use this portion of the mastery check. We'll go from top to bottom. Okay. And then they will enter it in this portion of the Sunday notebook. Okay, I know that if we have remote learners, it's going to be kind of hard, but you will have them spell these. There's no new material, so that's the only portions of the student notebook that will be filled in. So I'm just going to give her a couple as an example for her to write on her student notebook. So first word, sat.
Sat. At.
Make sure they're doing the touch spelling and repeating. Fit.
Fit. F-it. F-it.
Jam.
Jam. J-a-m. J-a-m.
Big.
Big. B-I. B-I-G.
Can.
Can. K-a-n. K-a-n.
And you would repeat all the rest of these words to the student. And you would do the error analysis if they miss 4 or more. So if they miss 3, you can move on. Otherwise, you need to do the error analysis and kind of look down here and do the reteaching. If they are missing a certain thing, you need to do probably about 4 lessons to reteach that section. If the majority of the group is ready to go on, try to go back to these students, maybe individually if you have a chance, and go ahead. But Becky, go ahead and show me your student notebook. So if you're the remote learning teacher, have them get real close to it and tell them like to move it down. Can you move it down? And then you could do a screenshot so that you can grade their spelling remotely. You could also, there may be some ways on Canvas, but this is probably the best way to know that it's being done by the student. So you could just do Command-Shift-4 on your MacBook and you take a screenshot of it, and then you can print that out and staple it to their mastery check papers with the error analysis. Okay, and that right now is what I have for remote mastery checks. I am open to new ideas. If somebody comes up with something else, I would be glad to hear it. Thank you. See, I'll stop sharing.